Hello everyone, welcome to Willow and Roots. It's Michelle here and I have another video for you. Today we're going to be talking about just things going on in the world, especially in my country, highlighting things that we can do to help alleviate a lot of the difficulties and hardships in our lives and the lives of others. Okay? Now, the first thing I'd like to talk about, and this is happening in my country, there's a lot of strikes. Postal strikes, railway strikes, strikes with like lawyers, strikes with teachers, right? University professors, strikes with the nurses. Everyone is like saying, look, hang on a minute. We want to get paid more because the cost of living is increasing and this is a big problem. Okay? Now, I get that, and it is true. But what we need to realize is why it is happening. Now, the source of our problems stem from the furlough. Economists were saying this all the way back during the whole lockdown period, that this was going to happen. Everything was said about food shortages, energy prices increasing, right? A lot of people dying from the cold. All of this was said, and it's just happening. It's unfolding. In my opinion, the furlough didn't help at all, and a lot of people were very happy to accept it. What really should have happened was the first one, fine, but when they started bankrolling like 2, 3, the second set of furlough and the third, that's when people should have said, hang on a minute. We're ready to get back to work, because from what we have seen, this is something that we can live with. And I'm talking about the reason why people ended up getting furlough. If everyone said that we were ready to go back to work so that the damage that was caused for the first half of the lockdowns, that we can see if we can make it back, then I think it wouldn't be as bad. When it comes to the energy price increase, it was actually said before there was any conflicts in other countries, if you know what I mean, because you're not allowed to speak about that, name countries that are having conflicts with each other. It was said well before that. So I don't even know how that has any type of effect, well, with the oil, but it almost feels like it was pre-planned. Now, I know that you're probably saying, well, look, we get the oil from that country, one of the countries that are in conflict. What I would say to that is that instead of encouraging the two countries to be in conflict, why aren't we, the people, demanding peace, demanding them to have peace talks and come to some form of compromise, some form of solution? Because if there is conflict and bloodshed, we're still in the predicament that we're in, where we don't got no oil and we're freezing to death. So why not say, hang on a minute, as a human, I don't want other people to die. I don't want children to die. I don't want, it's unnecessary, innocent civilians to die. We should be encouraging our country to encourage them to have peace talks, encourage them to come to some form of peaceful conclusion. That way, whatever resources we need from the country that has the resources that we need, then we can work something out. But of course, that's not what is wanted. And I can say this, from what I've seen, if conflict brings money to countries, this particular conflict, the two major countries that are involved in this, not the ones warring, the ones instigating, you're not going to get anything. It's not going to work out the way that you expect it. It's not. The money that you're expecting to get, you're not going to get it. So it's just more blood on your hands. But I don't want to be a supporter of bloodshed. I don't want to be a supporter of that. It is unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. And we're actually, well, the country is actually shooting itself in the foot by getting involved in that way, encouraging the conflict. It's ridiculous. All that money that was sent there as well. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. We the people should tell our governments that, look, we're not taking this anymore. We're not going to be freezing. We're not going to be, we don't want people to die. Those who cannot afford to heat their homes. There needs to be a stop, a breaking point. But that's the problem. And it comes a time where you have to put your hands up and say, okay, I received the furlough and this is the consequence. I'm not going to get a pay increase. And if they do give you some form of pay increase, the cost of living is always going to go up and up. It's not going to stop. The cycle is never going to end unless we demand that it ends. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense that people don't want to see the reason why something is happening. And it's also, and I'm hearing this, that saying, money doesn't grow on trees. We tell children who don't understand that we have to work hard for what we have, yet people are behaving like there's just an endless source of money. They're printing money that they don't have. It doesn't have value because the amount of debt that we're in. So it's going to be a point where the rug will be pulled from under everyone. Those who are rich will be poor, and those who are poor will be poorer. And I'm not trying to scare people. That's just how it is. It's just a part of some people call it the breakdown of society. But with every dismantling, there's always something that you can do, right? You have a voice, use it. It's not going to stop the process and make everything go back to normal, but it will alleviate it and allow positive solutions or solutions that can help many, right? Because it is dismantling, but it doesn't have to be as painful as it is. That is just something that I wanted to put out there. There's other things as well. Now, I've been talking to a lot of people in my town, and well, they tend to come up to me and then we have a chat, and then of course the topic of saving Mother Earth comes up, right? And there are a lot of groups, I'm hearing organizations where they're claiming that that's what they're doing, when in fact they're absolutely not doing that. Because there's nothing that they're doing that's actually helping Mother Earth. I think for them, one of the first things that they need to do is to actually go to tribes who are true custodians of the land and learn. Get educated on how to truly help Mother Nature. Because what they're doing is just, it's not productive at all. It's not. And one group in particular where they're for the environment, yet they're using chemical substance to glue themselves on surfaces. So how can that be for Mother Earth? You're using chemicals to glue yourself. So you're harming your person, your body, and you're also putting the chemical on a surface in the name of Mother Nature. Seriously, it makes absolutely no sense. Then we had a group, this is one of the first ones to come out earlier in the pandemic, and they're almost like a terror group in a sense. And they came to my town, and again, they're all for the environment, yet they went to Costa Coffee, bought coffees, and once they passed through town, spreading whatever they're spreading, the message, the cups were all over the ground. The church that allowed them to use their meeting rooms as a base, they had junk everywhere. They didn't even clean up after themselves. The cups were everywhere. What I find interesting is these cups cannot be recycled. So if you are for Mother Earth, wouldn't you bring your own cup and ask them to fill it with the coffee? Right? This is a cup that you can reuse. It's just a little bit weird. I find that with these groups, they have no flipping idea what they're fighting for, because they're not doing anything for Mother Nature. What are your motives? You're speaking on it, but things that you're doing is just totally against it. It's ridiculous. When there's the argument where many of these activists are from middle class backgrounds, and there's some level of detachment from reality. Now, I'm not going to say all middle class people are like that, but I have met I have met more who are like that, and I've met probably a handful who are aware and conscious. So I'm not going to say everyone is like that, but it's one of the strangest things. We're living in crazy times, and I do find that the age of Aquarius, where it's about truth, those who deceive, those who lie, try their hardest to hide the truth, mask the truth, but it always is revealed, and it's so obvious, the truth, that I mean, really, it's just staring you in your face. However, many people choose to be blind. Many people choose to sweep things under the carpet, to not see it. You see it, but you don't want to process it. You see it, but you don't want to do anything about it because you fear the consequences. It then leads me to talk about the shopping bags situation. You know, the grocery bags, the thick plastic ones. The ones that the supermarket talks about. Yes, it lasts long. The forever plastic bag, those. In theory, it makes sense. But speaking to an older gentleman who truly is for the environment, he said that a lot of the UK's shopping bags, these thick plastic ones, are actually sent to Australia in a landfill. So we're sending our garbage, dumping it in other countries. Absolutely nothing is happening to it. It's just, how in the world does this make sense? So it's sent to a landfill, and they're making more bags. So every time we go shopping, you buy a bag, and then when you're done with it and you chuck it, it's going in a landfill. It defeats the purpose of helping the environment. Now, it would make sense that these extra thick bags should be recycled into new bags. Why? What I mean, seriously. Then, if you can't recycle it, then why the hell are you producing it? Why the hell are you making it then? Oh my word. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Seriously, this is unbelievable. And it's not, I mean, collectively, yes, we are responsible, but these companies, come on. Why are we not telling them to stop doing this? Then it gets worse. Then we get to clothing, the seasonal fashionable clothing, you know, and we're not talking about necessarily high fashion. Well, for some people, yes, but not many people buy that. We're talking about the high street brands, or even lower than that. And people will buy an outfit, wear it once to a club, and then chuck it or throw it away or give it to a charity shop, right? Or Goodwill. Do you know that the clothes that the Goodwill, the charity shop, the things that don't sell, they bag it up and they send it to South Africa. So there's a whole bunch of clothes from all over the world, mainly the West, that's in South Africa that nobody is wearing. I mean, why do we think that there's people in South Africa who don't have clothes to wear, and so they're gonna wear ours? There's lots of clothing down there, like again, landfills. What in the world? But it's coming from the West. It's coming from us. Nobody is wearing it. It's just piling up. Why? Because they don't need it. The ignorance again, the ignorance. So it got me thinking, because something has to be done. What can we do to help alleviate a lot of this excessiveness? Now, tackling the charity shop Goodwill garments, the ones that are piled up in South Africa, I highly encourage people to use them to make blankets. Cut them up and make quilted blankets, whether you make that with a sewing machine or sewing by hand, but not for profit. This is actually to help people. And the same thing here in the UK and in America, Canada, wherever. Take these garments and make blankets. Stitch them up and make patchwork blankets. And the aim is to be a humanitarian, not for profit. It's to help people. There's a lot of children and families who are cold, and that blanket could help them. That can make the greatest difference. There's homeless people in the street who are cold, and that blanket can make the difference. That's you stepping into your humanity. That's you being of service. So it's not to do it to make a dime or to make money from it. You're doing it because that is going to be put into your spiritual bank account. The bank account that when you die and you leave all your material possessions, because you can't take that shit with you, you have that bank account in spirit. Okay? A lot of people don't realize that. You have spiritual poverty and spiritual wealth. Okay, so using these garments to make blankets, whether you make the blankets for yourself or to help others, that's one solution. The blankets will last a long time. It's not something that you're going to dash away or throw away. Okay? It's to be used, because when it comes to this energy thing, I do not see it going back to how it was. They're not going to make it easy. They are not going to make it easy. So it's preparing, making sure that you have everything that you need to keep warm. And it makes sense, because I remember during the pandemic, I remember seeing this amazing quilt, and it was in a Goodwill or a charity shop. Beautiful quilt. And I said, okay, I'm going to come back for that. And a week later when I went, they said, well, we're not selling blankets or quilts anymore because of the situation. You know, what people were catching at that time. And I was like, really? When you can wash it, possibly in hot water, and then that's, I mean, it just didn't make any sense. And then I realized, hang on a minute. It's not about that. It's about what's to come, where they're going to be freezing everyone. And they don't want you to have any type of warmth. So with these clothing, make blankets. Okay? Make blankets for yourself or for others. But also with these quick garments that's chucked, a lot of it is cheap or inexpensive. And I don't really want to sound, you know, like judgmental, but it doesn't have long life, the garment. Now, something that I do, and I've always done it, is I like to buy things that are of quality. And quality doesn't necessarily mean expensive. Quality is when you look at the garment, look at the fabric, how the thickness of it, the strength of it, the stitching of the garment, right? But also pieces that you can switch up or match up with other articles of clothing. Right now I'm in a sweater phase, so I have my sweaters where I know that I am not going to be getting rid of them. Those are the sweaters that I'm going to be wearing for years to come. I'm looking after my clothing. Same thing with jeans. You don't really need 50,000 pairs of jeans. Get a really good quality pant, right? And then you just look after it. You wear it, you look after it. 2 pairs, whatever. It's just buying things that are of quality that you know that you can wear for years to come. You're not going to have the desire to chuck it. You're not going to be buying things in all these weird patterns that will be out of style in the next year or two. Nice, simple pieces, or pieces where it might have details, but it's not something that is short-lived. It's a classic. Now, I remember during my fashion days, oh my gosh, that was I've always been someone of quality. And I worked for a fashion house in New York. I bought a Gaultier dress, Jean-Paul Gaultier dress, and an Alberto Ferretti dress. And the Gaultier dress, it's like a knitted dress, a wool dress, still have it. You can wear that 3 different ways. I had 3 events to go to, and I wore that same dress and changed it up, the styling. And I was always asked, where did you get that dress from? People thought it was something brand new that I was wearing. The Alberto Ferretti dress is more like, it's a nice cotton dress, a stretch cotton. But that dress could be worn 5 different ways. And again, the same thing. Where did you get that dress from? Oh, you're always buying new things. I was like, no, that's the same dress that I wore last week. It's just tied differently. But it's, again, buying pieces that has longevity, that's of quality, good quality. And again, it doesn't have to be expensive. But buying like cheap throwaway clothes where you wear it once and then it has a hole in it, it's really, don't spend your money on that. So that's one thing that we could do. It's actually paring down, scaling down how much clothing we buy and the quality of the clothing that we buy, right? You don't need 20, 30, 50 pairs of shoes. Why? Or trainers, sneakers. It's just very excessive. And that is why I mean, these companies, they push it on people and like, you must buy, you must have the latest. And we're going along with it. It's ridiculous. Same thing with phones. Every year it's a new one. Why do you need the newest phone? That's pollution. That's contributing to it. It's not only making these companies a hell of a lot of money, the greatest polluters, but we're actually encouraging it. It's unbelievable. So this is another thing that was really, it really shook me to the core of this. I've been volunteering at my son's school, like, you know, the PTA, Parent Teachers Association, that type of stuff. So if they have like little activities, I would be there as a chaperone, etc. And they had an after school activity that I volunteered to help. And these children, oh my gosh, they're so sweet. But they were doing the activity and I was preparing the snacks for them. And there's 2 other moms as well that was doing it with me. During the activity, there was one boy in my son's year, my son's class, came up to me and said, "I'm so happy, I'm just here for the food." I thought he was joking. I really did. So it was, you know, I just smiled and like, oh, in a bit, just be patient, in a bit. Then he came up again and he said it. And then he had sadness in his eyes. And oh my God, the realization that this boy is only at this activity because that's his evening meal. That just shook me to the core. I cannot believe this. An 8-year-old, hungry. I asked my son, you know, does he come and ask you for food? He said yes. So what I do now is I pack extra in my son's lunchbox. And if the boy asks, he gets it. Turns out that this kid is only eating 1 meal a day, because when I go and I drop my little boy off, he's also coming to school at that time. So there is no breakfast club. They have breakfast club, but he's not attending that. So when I work it out, he's only eating lunch. I saw his parents and the state of them. Again, I don't want to be judgmental, but from what I picked up, and again, with everything happening with the energy crisis and people having to either have their heating on and not eat, or eat and not have their heating on, They look like they're in that position. As a matter of fact, they're not together, the parents. But it really made me tear up just looking at this kid, and he's only eating one meal. And I know that, yes, there's some kids that they're not eating anything, they're actually dying. But if there's something that we can do, we should do it to help. Being taught to want, knowing that you can't have just the basic necessities, it blows my mind. The way that I look at children, it's like if you look at their age, so whatever the age, that's how long they've been on this earth to have to learn the ropes. So we've been here for a very long time, so we've acclimatized to this realm. But these young souls have just arrived, if you think about it. And always remember that children are closest to God, because their time with God is closer than our time with God. And that's based on the number of years of their age. Okay, so a newborn is really close to God because they just arrived. The soul just arrived. It doesn't come with hate. It doesn't come with the complexities of living in this realm. It's very pure. Wow, it just really knocked me for six, that one. So that's what I do. Just give extra and just say, look, if he asks, give it to him, because I don't want to offend or upset any parent. So I just do it in that way. It's unbelievable. So while there are people out there, activists, gluing themselves to surfaces, they could be helping people who truly need it. And that puts everything into perspective. What the hell are they doing it for? When it comes to the whole helping out Gaia thing, one thing that I've noticed also is they have a solution, and it's actually a sensible one. It makes a hell of a lot of sense. But the missing link is the transition from where we are to what they want to bring about, right? The solution. The transition is not thought out at all. So if someone says, okay, we need to rely on wind power. So how do we transition from gas power to wind power? What's the middle ground? How are we going to then change over gradually to full wind power? Somehow that shit ain't thought out. And you have a lot of these organization activists, etc., who have not thought that out at all. So you have people who are very good at coming up with solutions, but they're not leaders at all. They're not leaders. You are here to just create and let the leaders step in and do their work. Let the leaders lead, okay? Because the leaders will have the answers. The leaders will know what to say. Many of these activists are asked these questions and they're like, no answers. No answers regarding the transition. It's just, well, the outcome, the final outcome, this is what needs to happen. Okay, then how are we going to get there? People will listen if you have the solution as to how we're going to transition there smoothly. It's like no one thinks about it. I'm just baffled. And that is why these wicked beings who are trying to destroy everything, humanity, that's why they think humanity is worthless. Wow. But if you are someone that is for all of that, think about the transition. Come up with the solution on how we will transition from where we are to where we should be. Come on, people. Come on. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is the wicked essence, or I call it the satanic essence. So during this time, well, it's always been, to be honest, but it's just more potent. And again, because we're in the age of Aquarius, it's all revealed. It's all out in the open. So it's not hidden anymore, the truth. But there is an essence of wickedness, right? That many people are susceptible to. And the way that you become susceptible to this is by being either in a low frequency, low vibrational frequency. So feelings of anger, rage, fear, right? Rage, resentment, guilt, so on and so forth. Also, not working and healing some of the blockages or shadow qualities within yourself. When it comes to healing, sometimes we have to completely heal a bad habit or a pattern where we will benefit, we will grow, we will start to see positive changes. And there's some qualities that we need to recognize, we need to process, but also embrace it, but knowing how to manage it. So let's say jealousy, for instance. That's a big one. And if you are jealous of someone because they're doing well, instead of feeding that shadow quality, right? So you're adding a bit of low vibrational energy to it, where you're either going to lash out on the person or do something totally cruel. You can use that energy to motivate yourself to succeed, to motivate yourself to be determined to move towards success, or to build a business, or to have a great job, or what have you, whatever it is. You know, it might even be to get fit and looking all nice physically, but use it as motivation. Don't use it as a way to lash out. When you feed it with the demonic or the satanic essence, that is when you are stepping on dangerous territory there, especially with spirit. And one thing that I was told during meditation, that the rules have changed. The rules have changed. When it comes to the whole repent and all that, it's changed. Because there is a great awareness of what we are doing, and we're still doing it. So it's like knowing that you're doing something wrong, knowing that you are doing something wrong, but still doing it. But it's that satanic essence that is feeding you or giving you this drive to follow through with this dark action. Okay, it's almost like it turns into something that is, it's like a lustful feeling, but it's a release. It's like, I need to get this out because it's going to make me feel good, but it's harming someone else. The energy makes it feel good to you, but it is not good. Because in the news there has been murders that occur. I'm not even going to be naming them because y'all already know it. And there's many murders, but it's the ones that's in the news. And of young people in the States. I immediately felt that satanic essence coming from that. It's something that it grabs or grips the individual, and they have to get that release. And it's like a high. It's almost like a high when you're in that joy frequency. That everything is going great in your life and you feel happy. That sensation. It's that high and that release. But then after the fact, after it's happened, then you come back to reality and realize, hang on a minute, that was incredibly stupid what I did, and I have a lot to answer for. I'm in trouble. So it's being mindful of that. And I can see a lot of people, not to that degree where they're going to be harming people, right, taking lives, but there is a coldness. It's like in like the day-to-day. And this actually happened around the time of the lockdowns, where people were just annoyed, frustrated, angry. But now it's bubbling up in the gut as rage, okay? And that's not good, because that is exactly what this satanic essence needs in order to get exactly what it wants, the control of humanity. It won't get everyone, but it will get a lot of people. And this leads me to the topic of the 144,000. Now, I received another download, more information on this. And what is interesting is many of us believe that everyone on earth is going to die and it's only going to be 144,000 people living. No, that's not it. That's not it. What is interesting, the creator, source, said, and this is a promise, it was made a long time ago, that I will not destroy man. So the last time man was destroyed was the great floods, right? Noah's Ark time. It's not going to happen again. But what was revealed to me is humanity, so man will kill man. Humanity will destroy themselves. That's what's going to happen. And it's happening. So with the 144,000, with everything that we are seeing going on in the world, the wickedness, and if you're not aware of it, you need to come out from under that rock and open your eyes, because this is the period where it's in plain sight, right? Everything that is going on, all the evilness that is going on, with the satanic essence that is going to be gripping many people. Only 144,000 people will truly be devoted to God, the creator source. Yes. And I know you're wondering how. Well, you will be judged based on what's in your heart. So guys, you can't fake this one. You can't fake this one. So it's not about what you're seeing other people do and, oh, they're a great philanthropist and all this business. You're going to be judged by what's in your heart. So it's similar to the Ma'at symbol on the judgment card, or some judgment cards in the tarot, where you have the feather on one side of the scale and then the heart, the organ of the heart, on the opposite side. And it's saying the heart has to be lighter than a feather. So it means no regret. Everything that you do it totally in agreement, in alignment with what you are doing, harming none. No regret, no guilt, no resentment. Not doing things with a heavy heart. Not giving with a heavy heart. That's a big topic. Like giving to charity, but you don't really want to give, but you give because you want to look good, or you want to not look mean around others. If you don't want to give, you don't give. Everything has to be done from the heart. You have to truly mean it. Mean what you say. Say what you mean. Do it with purpose. So what I've been talking about on this channel, about feeling, right? Really feeling the essence of life, connecting with it, really being honest with yourself with things going on in your life or yourself, not painting the picture of this perfect person, if you're not perfect, to society, and inside it's like a totally different person or situation. It's knowing that the creator knows you better than you know yourself. So everything that you are feeling, your truth, is already known. But it's for you to embrace it, process it, see it. So this whole meaning of you will be judged based on what's in your heart, it is true. When it's time for you to face the council of light, you can't lie, because they already know. They can feel what you feel, the true feeling. So it's for you, the soul, to admit it. And the practice starts in this realm. This is all about being authentic. That's living authentically, being authentic as best as you can. But that's what that means. Now with the 144,000, it's not just all adults. What I saw, there's kids, young people, middle-aged people, old people, people from all races, various races. It's a mix. But the one thing that they have in common is that they have not lost their faith in the creator. So it's not necessarily about, okay, well, I'm a part of this religion or that religion. It's not, all of that doesn't even matter. At this point, what I was shown, there's going to be a period where people are not going to believe in anything. And these 144,000 people are going to hold within their heart their belief in God, Source, the Creator, truly, wholeheartedly, with faith and belief. That's what that means. And nowadays, I mean, I can't even, when I remember my grandmother told me about this many years ago when I was a teen. And I didn't believe it. I was like, what? The whole world, only 144,000 people? Please. Now I'm seeing it. It's possible. My son goes to a Christian school. Not deliberately. It's a good school. So, and There were a few people who were unwell or going through some difficulty. And I remember speaking to them and I said, I'll pray for you. They looked at me like I said a swear word. Seriously. It was like I said something really insulting to them. What? I mean, it's gotten to that point, and I'm like, hang on a minute. But do you know your kid is going to a Christian school? Like, they're learning about the Bible here. It blows my flipping mind. But I still tell them, if someone is going through some hardship, I do tell them, I'll pray for you. Because I'm not going to hide that side of myself. That gift. Why? The gift of prayer helps. It works. So I'm going to have to wrap this up soon, because I do have to make some costumes, nativity costumes. I have to finish that one up. I have to also start editing some personal readings, and I do have a pick a card for this channel that I'm editing. So I'm doing several things at the same time, but I wanted to really get this in first because it is important. We need to talk, and we all need to really do our bit to help each other, to help the planet, right? And to spiritually ascend, spiritually grow. It's part of the purpose. It's part of why we're here. Now, when it comes to also this 144,000, which it is written, but there is something that really stands out for me, and that is maintaining, and I've said this in other videos, maintaining family traditions. So what your ancestors did, it's not losing sight of that. Some of the practices, some of the cultural practices, some of the foods that they would prepare, they would eat, right? Some of the religious practices, it's not losing sight of that. It's really embracing it, doing it, and sharing it with the younger generation. It's not losing sight of who we are, a part of who we are. All right, so I have some cards ready. I want to see what spirit, right, the creator has to say, if there's any messages. I'm not going to do a lot. It's not going to be a pick a card. It's just going to be a few cards that I'm going to pull. Okay, so I'm going to get a card from the guiding light. Okay, do you have any guidance for the collective watching? Any guidance, please? Yes. Yes, isn't this beautiful? I love this deck, you know. It really speaks to me. So we have card number 53, and it says, align with your wholeness. You are not your illness, symptoms, or habits. You, the person, are always whole and perfect. And it's a card number 8, so 53 reducing to 8. 8 is giving me infinity symbol vibes, so it's the even flow of energy from one point to the other. So no blockages, right? So whatever you are going through, whatever struggles you're going through, know that you are not the condition. You are much greater than that. And with the infinity symbol, you are infinite. You are not limited. It's believing that and being able to do something about it. So everything, again, what we spoke about with the energy situation, or people who are hungry, or even some of the Gaia issues, right? Because you're not allowed to say the word. But some of the Gaia issues, we can do something about this. There are solutions, but we need to take action. And this is a very blue card here. We do have the moon. So it's giving me like high priestess vibes with this. With the blues, that's the throat chakra, to speak, right? Communicating on what is hidden, sharing your views on what is hidden. So you don't need to sweep things under the carpet. It's time to bring it out to the open, look at it, see what can be done to alleviate or to solve some of these problems. It's realizing that you can break patterns. align with who you are, align with your soul. Being able to feel, have empathy. So we have a 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups. Look at this waterfall. I'm going to get one card from the ancestors. It's like overflowing with joy. This is speaking about the energy, your frequency, being in a frequency of joy, being in an uplifted energy, right? And with the waterfall or the fountain, this is giving me, in the I'm saying the olden days. it's not olden days. I'm going to say like 80s. You see in movies and stuff where you have all the champagne glasses in this whole pattern here, like the different levels, and you have the champagne that's poured out and filling all these glasses. That is quite interesting. So see yourself as the champagne glass on top. You have an abundance, right, at your fingertips, and there is more than enough to share with others, right? This is something that is a group effort, right? A communal effort, and nothing is limited. Everything is available to all of us, and all we have to do is be in the empathic energy to be open to sharing our abundance in whatever form this abundance comes in, whether it be monetary, advice, just smiling, just being uplifting and positive, telling someone it will be okay, giving them advice. But this is what it is. One person can make the greatest difference to many. That's what I'm getting from that. And it's also showing me as well, it starts from the top when it comes to the Gaia situation. It stems from the top, trickle down to the bottom, right? So when we're talking about the top, we're talking about like big business. That's where it stems from. But the bottom can say, hey, we're not going to be supporting these businesses. We're pulling back our coins. I just noticed something. There's this lone cup here. That's you. Not the top. That's you. That's seeing also your potential. It's also a message for the collective, but also personal message as well. Okay, may I ask card ancestors, do you have anything to say? Thank you. 9 of coins. You got the 2 nines. 9 of pentacles. 2 nines. And then we have 4 of pentacles. This is really giving me holding on to what you have, holding on to your possessions, but there is a sense of needing to share as well. So the energy is giving me, definitely look out for yourself and your family and fulfilling those needs, but also if you have enough, right, resources, time, or energy to share with others, then do so. Don't be afraid to do so, because there is I'm hearing you will be blessed by spirit. What people don't realize is when you have an incredible amount of wealth, right? Spirit has blessed you with this opportunity. The more you give, the more you get, because there's movement. Okay, there's movement. But of course, the key thing here is with the heart energy, being in alignment with your heart and doing things from the heart space. Okay, but you are blessed with abundance, so it's to share and free up any excess that you have. That's what it's telling me. Let's get one more. It's coming out of that attitude of, well, I have to hold on to it. I have to keep what's mine. You are blessed greatly when you are open to sharing, changing a life. Imagine someone who is struggling at rock bottom and you help them out of that situation, and then they're able to stand on their own 2 feet and start sustaining themselves. How can that not be an incredible feeling? Knowing that you helped someone to find themselves, to find their feet, to survive. That is one of the greatest gifts. To change a life for the better. Unbelievable. Okay, we have Daughter of Knives. Okay, so there is a scenario here where many of you, and many of us, many people do it. And then we have the Ace of Cups on the bottom. Many people see what's happening around them, but choose to do nothing about it. That's what this is telling me, right? The Page of Swords is showing me that I see what's happening. I see that there's people in need. I see what needs to be done, but I'm just going to keep to myself because I'm okay. And it's saying, have some compassion. Ace of Cups. Have some compassion. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to end the video right here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for, I know it's probably long, but do heed the guidance. Listen to the messages, and if you feel inclined to help and to do your bit, do so. Don't be afraid. It's all of us need to chip in. The more of us that chips in, the more of us that start making these positive changes, the better. Okay, so yes, things are changing, society's falling apart, but we all don't have to struggle to suffer, right? It can fall apart in a way where it is manageable. So let's be of service, guys. Right, so I'll see you next time. Bye.